Sherise,
Hello.
how you doing?
Good, thanks.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has, man.
It's been a long time. I think we looked in the email and it was what?
2016, you said.
Yeah, nine years. That's crazy.
That's gone in a blink of an eye.
Do you know what? I don't feel 9 years older, but we won't get into that. We'll leave that alone. We're here to talk about Do Not Disturb,
Yep.
your baby. I actually couldn't believe that you was connected to this. I knew you was in the space, and I'm not saying I didn't believe it because you're not capable. It was just more like I saw the noise, I saw some of the names attached to it before I got to who wrote it.
Okay.
Let's talk about it. What was the spark of the moment that led you to write it? Was there a conversation, a situation, or something that you felt was missing from British storytelling? This is an audio drama.
Yeah.
Explain it to the people.
Yeah, it's there's obviously we know there's a massive gap in authentic black stories. Whereas probably, like I've said this over and over again, like back in the day, I don't think there was such a gap when I was growing up in the 90s, 80s, 90s, that, you know, the exports out of the US were fast, and there was loads of those shows, and then we still had our things here. We still had, you know, The Real McCoy, we had Choice FM, we had Desmond's, there were things here, but it just seems that that's long since gone. And although there are shows here and there, my roots have always been comedy, in the sense of, you know, the joy, laughter, silliness, you know, that's the bit, you know. There's definitely people out there doing hard hitting, gripping. That's been kind of, I think, the theme for a while is edgy. I just want a bit of escapism.
Something that distracts you from that
Something
every
that
day.
distracts you from all the stuff that we know are going on in life. So that's, you know, joy. I wanted to find the joy and the laughter and the silliness that we so often bring as a community, and so that's what pushed me down that route. And also, I'm a bit older, and I don't feel like a lot of stuff is geared towards the more kind of, you know, just older audience. A lot of stuff is YA. I find we've got to appeal to the youth, I think the youth need to wait their turn. We're the one who pays the bill.
I mean, listen, they ain't subscribing to Audible without us, right?
Thank you.
Which is where this drama finds itself. What was the most important thing to you in preserving, like, the rawness of the writing and the recording process? Because I can imagine slightly different discipline for you. You've done TV, you've done theatre. Mm-hmm. So delivering this, what was that like?
It was an interesting challenge shifting it to audio, because, you know, obviously you get so reliant on visuals, and it's, you know, it's a natural.
It's what we're used to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's kind of where the mind automatically goes. So it was interesting to be like, okay, so we still got to land, but we only have, you know, sound, and play with that. And actually, believe it or not, that actually became a strength. Because as a community and as a people, everything's sound. You know, we communicate a lot through, you know, how we say things. Not what we say, but how we say them. Especially being West Indian, and like having a whole conversation with just kind of, you know, and like, we know there's so much dialogue in that. So I thought that's what was really important in preserving when I was writing it, and it doesn't always translate on the page, but I knew that once actors had the scripts, that they would get it, and they did. That one of the things they were all saying is, as soon as they read, they were like, we know who these people are. For me, preserving in the writing is that description of how we say things.
When you say we know who those people are, we're talking about Sade, Saffron, and Raquel. These are the three South London characters, South London women.
Yes.
Very honest, very funny. They're on a quest for good sex.
Oh, yeah.
Why was it important for you to center black female desire in this way, Sherise?
Because it never gets a look in. It's just crazy. You know, if you, again, comparison is the thief of joy. But if you look at, you know, Fleabag and certain other shows, they can be bold and embrace their sexuality, But I've never seen a space for black women to be able to do that. And as somebody that is a black woman that has friendship circles and knows how unfiltered and how much agency we have in those spaces, I just wanted to bring that into the art.
Here's the question then, Sherise. How much of yourself or your group chat made it into these characters?
I'm not at liberty to divulge.
I just had a feeling that would be the answer.
However, I have been inspired.
No doubt.
Inspired by reality and real life to some degree.
The focus groups, huh?
You know what? Sometimes the material writes itself.
I'll say no more. Say no more. British media hasn't always, as you kind of alluded to, hasn't always made space for this kind of complex, comedic, black-female friendship. Were there any like specific stereotypes or areas of silence that you kind of wanted to challenge with this?
I don't do stereotypes, never have. I don't see black people as a monolith. So for me, that was the focus, was that anything that sniffed like a stereotype wasn't making the final draft. I wanted these to be authentic people, I wanted these to be authentic characters. You have your, not stereotypes, but subtypes in friendship groups. You have the dependable friend, you have the peacemaker friend, you have the tell you as it is friend. Those were the themes that I was leaning into heavily, because I believe those are real and relatable, rather than the stereotypical sassy, no. And also the shape shifting between, because when a certain situation arises, the friend that's normally the peacemaker, she's got a trigger. And today she ain't trying to make peace, she's choosing violence. And so we see that with these characters, we see that the fluidity and because yeah, human beings can change depending on circumstances.
Well, they're fallible, right?
Exactly, no one's here is perfect.
There you go. You star in this, right? Alongside a stellar cast, I must say. So what was it like performing your own words, and what did the rest of the cast bring that maybe surprised you?
I'm really glad that I stepped into the role. Because for me it was nothing but joy getting to work with people that I admire, people that I have followed for their careers for years. We had so much fun. Literally, I think people have said you can hear the chemistry was just from the jump. And I also believe that's down to the work and the material that we were working with, you know. And why would I not be in the sense that I wrote the perfect role for myself at the end of the day, and then I was able to have a say in the colleagues that I got to work with, the other talent that I got to work with and share that space with. The thing was a dream from start to finish, really.
Talk about that in terms of support. I mean, Audible seem like they've backed you here.
Oh man, listen, that's something I think I will always be grateful for, is being given that agency, being given that space to really write what I needed to write. Again, we have differences of opinions, people don't always understand things, but I did have confirmation, and I do feel like I had the support that ultimately that wouldn't be challenged. You're being given the space to tell the story the way you tell it. So that felt good. Because yeah, that doesn't happen often. I know it doesn't.
You now are responsible for Judy Love making her debut, her audio acting debut. All right, so that's a feather in your cap, because she's done a lot of stuff in the last. Listen, she don't stop, that one.
Yeah, literally.
And I love her for it. But Richard Blackwood, you know, those are some big names that you're working with. Just talk about, you know, the fact that those people were drawn to your project and executed in the way that they have.
Do you know what? I'll be really straight with you. As I was putting pen to paper, those two people in particular jumped out at me.
Wow.
Obviously, I've followed Richard's career for many, many years, admired his career for many, many years. And so when I was writing the character, I was very, very, you know, I was just like, yeah, I could just hear him. I actually said to him, you were living rent free in my head. Like, I could hear you, and I just knew that you had the sensibilities to be able to do this the way I needed it done. Same with Judy. I know she hadn't done audio before, but again, you can just see it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can just, as someone that is a writer and a creator, like, an author, I could see, I could hear it. I knew that my words and their performances, once collided, would make magic.
It feels like a bit of a statement of intent, this project. So now, what do you want Do Not Disturb to say about Black British storytelling, where it's headed, what it can be, what it represents?
I want the people that are commissioning projects that are seeing it as a risk because of target audiences. I want them to understand that if you have someone that is a visionary, if you have somebody that is a creator, a writer, don't be so scared to let them do what they do best, create. I feel like my grandma used to say, too many cooks. I feel like sometimes in that development process, there is so many mitigating factors and fair, because everyone's got a role to play, producer, commissioner, but that needs to be protected. The writer needs to be protected to do what they do best. You've hired them to tell a story. That's what we do. We're storytellers. Give us the space to tell our most authentic stories, and you will be pleasantly surprised. At the end of the day, because that's what people are tuning in for. They're tuning in for authentic storytelling. And so when someone feels that they have to now bow to or pigeonhole in or bear in mind, I just don't think you're going to get the pure work out there. I feel this Do Not Disturb is a testament. When someone writes what's in them to write, this is what we get.
So now that you've kicked off the door with this, what's next? Are we going to be hearing more from Sade, Saffron and Raquel, or is there another story, Sherise, burning in the background that you want to tell?
Listen, I just started telling this story.
I can just imagine. I can see it.
I only
itching to go, right?
started telling this story. Like, this is act one.
Yeah.
And so I do hope that people will embrace it and that it will do what it has to do to allow us to continue telling this story. It'll be such a shame if we don't get to continue telling the story. We've just introduced you to Sade, Saffron and Raquel. There's so much more to come.
I'm going to steer you away from this particular project, and I want people who are looking at this interview or watching this interview, listening to this interview, to kind of really get a perspective on your entry point into the space, right? You've worked on titles like Bridgerton. You've done a few other things that they're going to read about, and they're going to pull it together and be like, but who's this young lady? Like, where has she come from?
Young lady.
So talk about, listen, you ain't old yet. So speak about, like, identifying this particular art as a discipline that you wanted to, and I mean not just audio, you've done it all. So speak about kind of your creative expression and how it's manifested over the last few years.
I mean, this has always been me. If anyone's known me for long enough, from as young as I can remember, I was writing, producing, directing and starring in whatever family production that we were putting. Luckily, I'm the eldest of 5 siblings, so I had a whole cast as well. And this has always been me. Even once I started my own family, it's just a continuation of that. Obviously now I'm in the professional sphere now, and I'm juggling and wearing many, many hats. I feel like I've landed. I feel like I've arrived. Everything that came before has led me to where I am now. I not only, like you said before, have worked in the production side of things and learned that. I have kind of started my own business where I help and support and mentor people trying to get into production in high-end television. That was something that I found, or should I say found me, when working on Bridgerton. Very diverse in front of the camera. Unfortunately, in the UK, that's lacking with that experience with, people behind the camera in various production roles. And so myself, who was a writer's assistant, it was identified very quickly that there's work to be done there. And I felt very honoured to be asked and invited into that space to be able to help with that work. And since then, we've had a We built a successful program, the ladder program, which has, I can't even remember what we're up to now, but I think we're nearing like up to 40 people are working actively in the industry.
Brilliant.
In everything from camera to lighting to sound, costume, art department, HMU, and that's what's needed, okay? We need to be in this space in all aspects. And then obviously going back in front of the camera or, you know, acting, and just creating space for other people that are unsure how to navigate the industry. You know, as someone that is older, has been around for a minute, I think it's important, and I always try to make space and time to help, you know, mentor people into how to deal with this industry.
You doing all right yourself?
I'm getting there.
Anything else you want to share with us before we part ways? And when's the next project going to land? I know we're still focused on this one and, you know, we want to do that.
I'm writing at the moment. I'm writing something else at the moment. I'm working on 2 other projects at the moment. And so fingers crossed you will be seeing another Sherise Blackman. Listen, showrunner's the dream. You know, at the end of the day, like with this and all projects, I feel like I found my niche. I found the area that best suits me. You know, I like to be across all aspects of everything, not just, you know, I like to see it from beginning, middle to the end. So, yeah.
Well, good luck with everything.
Thank you.